Hey, it's Joel, and these are Polypanels. Polypanels are a creation by Devin over at Make Anything. They're a wonderful little building block for creating nearly anything you want. We're going to talk about these and talk about how I made them a little different. I'm Joel. This is 3D Printing Nerd. This episode of 3D Printing Nerd is sponsored by Skillshare. Welcome back. Polypanels are the creation of Devin over at Make Anything. They're these little polygons.
There you go.
Polygons. They're these little polyhedral. That's funny. They're these little polygons, and there's triangles. There are squares. There's even a rhombus. Is it rhombi? Rhombuses? The idea is simple. There are these little tiny connectors on each side of the poly panel, and your goal is to fit them together. And so there we go. So they fit just like this. Now you've got another one, and you can kind of add it in, and now they're like this, and then you can close up the triangle like that, and then you have this, and then you can put squares on the sides. It's really similar to the feeling you get when you're using Lego. Lego are bricks that are wonderful building blocks that let your imagination run wild. And these poly panels are very similar in that they go together and create wonderful things from your imagination. And apparently this is in my imagination. It's a little square triangle thing. That's fun. To talk about the filaments, this is a black PLA right here from Boots Industries. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. The top is Repcord. Is it Repcord? Yeah. It is Repcord PLA. And it's Sean printed that because it's purple. And Sean and purple go together like peanut butter and jelly. The idea behind the poly panels is simple, and you can build all sorts of stuff. Angus over at Maker's Muse actually used it as a platform for robotics, and he made a little RC car that drove around. There's also a contest over at My Mini Factory where you can get these, and creating your own poly panel could win you a 3D printer. That's fun. But for now, we're gonna set these aside because I went and did a thing, as you probably guessed. I made some things a little bit bigger. I did tease this on social media. I posted on Twitter, and I did post on Instagram pictures of embiggened poly panels. And now, the payoff, you get to see them. First, what I did is I printed these. These are large. These are in IC3D PLA, and it's cool because this was printed with a 0.8 nozzle on my CME CNC Artemis. It's a really big machine. Oh, things are sliding. It's a really big machine. I put a 0.8 millimeter nozzle on it because I wanted to be able to print really fast. These are kind of cool, and I printed these on this Wham Bam Flex Steel sheet. That's cool right there. The Artemis with the 0.8 nozzle, though, when printing PLA at speed, I had to turn up the temperature to 260 degrees. That's really hot, Sean.
So hot.
So hot. There it is. So hot. These were cool. These were my first try, and unfortunately, it didn't work well. There's a crack right there. Right there? Is it right there? Yep. It is. It is right there. So pulling them apart will break them. Let's see. Oh, two broke. Look at that. So the concept behind polypanels relies on the slight flexibility of plastic. But when you print with a 0.8 millimeter nozzle, the lines are really thick. You don't get a lot of flexibility, so you end up with a broken panel. In fact, that one's broken as well. Sad. So I had an idea. I went and printed this one. This one doesn't have that interior, that part of the triangle that actually stiffened it up a bit. So when I printed a second one, they snap together very snugly, very securely, very satisfyingly. And they pull apart. Now we're getting somewhere. This means that at 500% scale, we can start to build some really large things. Let's see what we did. So along with the ones from IC3D that I printed on the Artemis, I also printed these. These are printed with printed solid everyday PLA. It was a test batch that I got of printed solid, and I thought, finally I could put this to use. So I printed a bunch more. And they still have that very same satisfying click. There we go, look at that. I just made a wheel. Screw you, caveman, I made a wheel.
Oh, it's pointy.
Also on the Artemis, I used some Polyalchemy Elixir which is, oh, it's over here. So here we go. This is Polyalchemy Elixir. You might remember this filament as the one that I used when I made that really big Space Needle. 62 inches. So it made these. These are wonderful greens. I love the shade. I love the color. They printed really well. And just like with the previous ones, it makes a very satisfying sound. Oh, that's so good. Look at that. Almost made another wheel. I did more on the Artemis too. I used this protopasta color. It's kind of a bluish. It's like High Five Blue's cousin. And I made 4 more triangles. They're not all the same color because it's a bit of a transition-y rule. 5% red, 2.5% blue, 10% silver, something like that. There's a recipe on there. So I made some more triangles. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of triangles. That's all that I did on the Artemis. A 0.8 millimeter nozzle made this really fast to print. Each one of these took about 2 hours and 15 minutes to print. There's quite a few of them. Should I count?
Sure.
Did I count? Okay, so we've got 2 of the IC3D red ones. We've got 4 of the evaluation PLA from Printed Solid. I've got 4 from Protopasta, and I've got 4 from the Polyalchemy Elixir. Okay, at 2 hours and 15 minutes each, there will be a test at the end. Next up, we use the TAS 6, and the TAS 6 has an IT Works 3D head, and it means that it's got a Titan arrow on it, and it also takes 1.75 millimeter filament. So I have this large build plate, and I can take 1.75, which means that I can use some of this filament again, and I'll show you. The TAS 6 is the one that was responsible for printing the squares. The reason being is that these would not fit on any other build platform I currently had available for this. And this is Polyalchemy Elixir, the same stuff that went into the Space Needle. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Each one of those took 8 hours and 10 minutes to print on the TAS 6. Oof. Now I gotta put it back. So this is the Prusa i3 Mark III 3D printer, and this one was responsible for many of the different triangles that I printed. Let me show you. So first I had this 3D Fuel Workday PLA. It's called Autumn Orange. Autumn Orange. And it was responsible for these 2 on the Prusa i3 Mark III. They snap together very well. And they come apart without breaking. Each one of these took 4 hours and 45 minutes to print. Oh, there's more. These are black PLA triangles, and these were printed in, oh my gosh, it is a Boots Industries. It almost sounded Canadian. What a boot that. It is Boots Industries black PLA. I've had that for a long time, but it's still printed really well. These came out great. The Prusa did a great job. Ooh, and they snap together just fine. And they come apart without breaking. That's the important part. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my goodness, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 of these. 10 of these, and these took 4 hours and 45 minutes to print. Thanks for cleaning up. I don't have a spool to show you because it's out, but these are Strong Hero 3D triangles, and it was part of their Splendid filament where it changes color depending on how much of the filament you use. They do snap together satisfyingly, and they come apart too without breaking. That's important. There are 1, 2, 3 of these. These took 4 hours and 45 minutes to print each. And this one, this is what's cool. When you have a printer that supports filament detection, what you can do, rather than having to pause and eject filament and do it manually, you just snip the filament. It's what Joseph Prusa would show off. And it works. It works great. And so as I was running low on this, I just waited for it to hit the filament detection. I changed out and swapped it with the Boots filament. So we'll count that as the 4th one. There are 4 of those. On the Prusa as well, I had a tiny bit left of the Boots Industries filament, and then I swapped it out with some Orb polymer filament. I had Orb polymer years ago. Oh, look at this spool. So here it is, Orb polymer PLA, and it's got a QR code on there for you to get more information about the PLA. Oh. Yeah, and then they just disappeared. So this is Orb polymer filament, and I was able to swap it out right here. And then as that ran out, I swapped it over to my Polymaker Polymax PLA. That's the same stuff that my wife and I tested the 3D gloop with in the backyard. And then I printed one of these as well. Let's see. And on top of that is the Matter Hackers Orange PLA, just left over. Just left over. So then I was able to do the tops of that. I actually, I think I tweeted or Instagrammed that out. People like that one. And I like the color distinction. I like the blue and the orange. I think that looks really cool. 4 hours and 45 minutes each. Finally, we've got these squares. This is on the Task 6, but it's really heavy, and I'm not bringing it over again, and it's with Matter Hackers Black PLA. Oh, yeah, that is a very satisfying. And they come apart without breaking. Cool. Now that we have all of these together, I've given you the numbers for print time and quantity. So I would love to hear your thoughts into the total time spent printing these. I'll expect your comments below. For now, we got to put them together. Let's do it. Uh-oh, one broke. Oh no. One more. Get it. Get it. There we go. Look at that. That is just huge.
It's supposed to stand upright like this.
Oh, I know. Can the camera see that? No. See, it's too tall for the camera. But here, just so people can see. It's almost as tall as that Artemis 3D printer.
What?
That printer over there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So what is it?
It's something.
It's a thing. It's from your imagination, right?
Sure. I was not building stuff, and then I just randomly upon on this.
You randomly upon it? That's a good way to put it.
That doesn't make sense.
It makes total sense, David. This is great. Hey, thank you. Well, this was a bunch of fun. This nondescript shape just came from David's imagination. And the reason he was able to build it is because of these building blocks that Devin over at Make Anything created, and then I embiggened quite a bit. I don't know what the strength is here. I don't know if I could stand on it, and I'm scared of breaking it. I know polyalchemy elixir isn't known as a stronger filament, and it did kind of separate at a layer line there, but the rest of them held together pretty darn well. I would imagine if this was made out of ABS materials or PETG materials, it might have a better chance of me standing on it or giving it the full Joel. I don't know. Maybe on a future episode, I'll just stand on things. But for now, what I would love for you to take from this is that let your inspiration go. Just if inspiration strikes, just run with it. If you need to create yourself this dueling Ferris wheel shape, go for it. Print out a bunch of these polypanels and make whatever your heart's desire. It's fun. It puts the fun in functional. What function does this serve? I don't know, but it's just awesome. Listen, this was a lot of fun. We do have to pay the bills to keep the lights on around here. Here's a quick word from our sponsor, and then I got something really cool for you right at the end.
Oh, hey, it's Joel and Sean. There's a zombie outbreak and we're running for our lives, but what better time to tell you about Skillshare, today's video sponsor. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of different courses that allow you to learn at your own pace. Come on, Sean! You can learn whatever you want and however fast you want to go. And what's great is there's this course from Leah and Marshall Henshaw that talk about food and nutrition for endurance running. It would have been really handy to be able to take that course before the zombie outbreak. Come on, Sean! Come on! Head to my link in the description. Skillshare is a great place to learn lots of good stuff, and hopefully you're one of the first 500 survivors because you'll get a two-month trial absolutely free. Ugh.
Why?
Well, shoot, I don't know how to wrap up this video. We just got done running from zombies, and I lost my Sean, God rest his soul. I appreciate all your love and support, and I'll do my best to see what I can do to find another Sean. I'm kidding, Sean, I love you. Don't forget to hug each other more. I love you all. Stay tuned for the awesome, as always. High five. So you just saw us talk about these, but these are originally put together by David here. But what we have to do, since this is filmed before the video, we have to take these apart. Sorry, David. You can rebuild them. Mm-hmm. Okay. You want to take that one apart? I'll take this one apart. Okay. You did a good job building these.
Thank you.
Looked like it was a lot of fun.
It was. You're so quick.
Yeah, I know. Now we gotta put them all back in the bag, so that's where I'm gonna pull them from for the video.
Okay.
Do you need any help?
No.
I'm gonna help you regardless.
There, I'll take this part.
Okay.
This part apart? That makes sense.
It does.
There are 2 parts in that sentence.
Look at you going fast now.
The triangles are the most easy ones to take out.
That's true. Why is that? Do you have an idea?
Because they're smaller.
Oh, okay.
But no, they're not, actually.
No, they're not.
I don't know.
Okay.
Are they a different filament?
It could be. Could be a different filament. It could be a different machine.
Or I'm confused now.
That's okay.
Oops.
Put these in the bag.
Ow!
Sean, we're gonna have
I pinched myself.
Uh-oh. Sean, we're gonna have a lot of really cool polypanels to show off.
Mm-hmm. Excited.
Well, that one went way over there.
Yeah, sure did.
Hi, Mommy.
Hi.
We are filming right now. We're taking them apart. Do you want to help?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay!
Well, wait a minute. We're not done yet.
Oh.
Because...
No! My masterpiece.
It is a masterpiece.
My
But just
actual-
like with Lego, you can build it again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, boy, this
I
is going
can't
to be...
take these apart.
Let's see if I can. There we go. Okay, I got these. Don't hurt yourself.
I got to hurt.
Okay.
Gotcha. Here, take these apart.
Okay, you get those.
Yeah.
Just don't break them. They take a long time to print.
Oh. Oops. Dad, watch this. Ready?
Sure.
Yeah. Technical difficulties. How did this get into the trunk?
Very carefully. You built it.
Ow!
Don't hurt yourself.
Wait, I remember. Oh yeah, I remember how I did it. Trying so hard. Oh, that was easy.
Was it?
Oh my gosh, I used a lot of pieces.
I think you... Oh, did I just punch you in the gut?
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh, did you break it?
No? I don't think I did. These are pretty sturdy. They've broken me.
Yeah, they've also broken.
Okay.
Again, the triangles are the easiest.
Caught it.
Nice. The triangles are the easiest part to take off again.
There you go then. Take a triangle.
Yay! Ow! Why you bullied me?
I didn't mean to hurt you.
Yeah, I know.
just like Lego, part of the fun in building something is taking it apart and making a new, right?
No.
No, not at all? Okay. Look at that, just in time. Hey, David, thanks. I appreciate your help in this. Okay, now I'll clean these up so I can get ready to film.
Okay.
Up top. Well done.